Let there be light, and there was light. I'm going to shift the camera a little bit more. Okay, so my camera stopped abruptly, so do forgive me if you happen to be watching this and it just stopped, but I'm just going to continue this presentation from where I left off and exploring the number 13 a little bit more in the sense of looking at the coincidental the coincidence that we are going to have the number 13. In fact, I'm recording this on the 13th. Today is the 13th. Well, it's already into the 14th because it's the early hours of the morning, but I started these sessions, I call them sessions now, okay, on the 13th. So basically, of course, the 14th is Mother Eve again. So we are looking at all those aspects. Why the 13th and how Mother Eve is 14 with the 14 gods. We are looking at the 14 gods and we are seeing that the correlation that I have been drawing upon is that just like Christ and the disciples were at the table and they were 13 and there was a demarcation. The story sets a sort of demarcation of a new era. Just like it was with Noah as well. We have seen that Noah, of course, I think there was something with Noah that I did get the number 8. Let's see, the name Noah. But we looked at Noah, of course, and he was had the animals, and he was taking them in by twos and by fours. So we have made reference to that by even looking at a pomegranate that I cut today, and so it had 7 segments in there, and each segment had 2 rows of there were visible 2 rows of seeds. So basically there would be 14 rows right there, and that seemed to me was a good example of like the 14 gods being in under the umbrella of Mother Eve right there. So let's look at Noah anyway. This is 5 6 1 8, and adding these together, this is 15 20. So of course 20, this is how we found out that when we write the word 20, it is really 8. So this is 2 5 5 5 2 7. Adding this together, this is 10 24 20, let's see, 10, yes, 24 25 26. So 2 plus 6 is 8. So we can see how Noah was also 8. But as in here is as 20 is the number for as foundation, the number also for not only foundation, it's rock and it's unity. We can see because 2 is really a number of harmony and partnership and so on, and that too also falls into the spectrum of the right here under the column, which gives us a pyramid. When we use the word sacrifice, we can see that we have the A right there, which tells us we can build our own pyramid, or we do have a pyramid, or we can, when we are reflective with somebody else or mirroring with somebody else, we are building right there. But not to forget that we have in the middle of the word heart, H-E-A-R-T-A, there in the heart is where we have our pyramid. But the B is the interesting number, which is really 13, which is really the number 13. When here, it's really the number 13, but to show the bond and partnership that takes place between people, they come in an equal sign of top and bottom, and it forms the B, the bond. Okay, so that's what I find very interesting about the number 13 here. Now, I was looking at the number 13, and when we do the numerical value for the word 13, it gives us 9. That's what I was, where the camera stopped. So we have got the word 13, it equals 45, 4 plus 5 equals 9. So 9, of course, is beginning. So we can see when we do the word beginning and it gives us 9, that is saying to us where we have come into 13, we are actually, anytime there is a 13, we are about to have a new cycle. So I think 13 is actually the number that is on the death card, or the death card in the tarot, So that means you go through the death, which is a transition to bring you into that newness. So that is, I find this very interesting, and I don't think these things are just by chance. They really have got the makeup in our construct, or the function is really operating in our construct. Okay, so there's another thing I also wanted to point out, that with the number 8, because I also, why I'm drawing onto the number 8, because through this short series of presentations, I also discovered not only that, of course, Uranus is entering the second house, which is Taurus, and I have done some series of presentations on those to show that Taurus also equals 10, and that coincides with that which is one of the gods, meaning the God of who moved. The word moved equals 10, and heaven equals 10, and hell equals 10, and the word perfect equals 10. So for Uranus entering the house, the second house of the zodiac sign, which is Taurus, which equals 10, Taurus also equals 10. That is really saying that Uranus is moving into the perfect house in this sense. I'm not saying the other houses are not perfect. We are just drawing on a reference to understanding the makeup and the functions of the gods and what is happening in this era that we are moving into. And so it is moving into the second house, but it's also moving there on the 5th month. So the number 5 really is very symbolic, as we have all these 5s here in the word 13, because I do pay attention to all these 5s in any word. And so this is also telling me that the 5th month is really showing Mother Eve's presence, because as the snake, we could say, the snake equals 5. Mother Eve equals 5. The word Eve, the word Christ equals 5. The word pyramid, or key, or lock, or anchor, that's what is happening there. Uranus is going to come and anchor onto that house, and we could see the word house also equals 5, or home equals 5. So these are things that when we become conscious of those functions, it helps us to understand more about who we are, where we're at, and where we are going, or giving us a sense of our existence overall. Another thing that I really wanted to, that I wanted to further explore is that, so we see that May is the 5th, is the 5th month, but it also has its 3 letters, which coincides with the word when Mother Eve says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. So the last letting that Mother Eve was doing, as I continue to make this reference from Genesis of chapter 1, where Mother Eve had 8 lettings. So we have completed 7 lettings, and now we are in the new, the last letting, which is the number 8. The number 8 is very symbolic here because it is a new phase, like the blouse I bought, and it says for phase 8. So that was on the label. So we have 4. Let's do this. 1, so my pen don't dry out too much. So this is 417 equals, this is 10, 11, 12. So May is 12, and the first word that Mother Eve says, let, which is another 3-letter word, which is here, L-E-T, and we have 3, 5, 2. So the first word, the first letter equals 3, just as in May. We could say, now, isn't that, this just comes to mind now. We use the word may. May I have this? May you, or may, as a question, or posing as to allow something, and then we use the same word or let in the same way. Let is to allow, and may is also requesting an allowance, we could say. It's also, so they very much interlink here, these two words. So if we add this up together, this is 8, 9, 10. Now when we can see another correlation between these words here, that when we write the word 10, for instance, it gives us 12. This is 2, 5, 5. When we add these together, this is 12. Of course, 12 is 3, just as we have here. So the magic number here is 3. Now, another thing that I'm just going to double check something here again. We can see if we were to do the numerical value for the word 12, it's all it can also be, this is 12, TWELVE. So this is 2, 5, 5, 3, 4, 5. Adding these together, this is 7, this is 10, 20, 22. Oh, is it? Well, I think it is actually 22, 12. So I think I've got it wrong on here. Okay, so let's do this again. This is 12, this is correct, this is 4, this is 5, and 3, 5, 5, 2. Okay, so this is 9 plus 3. Okay, 9 plus 3 is 12, and 10 is 22, and 2 is 24. So it's 24. This is correct. So 2 plus 4 is 6. So we can see how we have 2 3s are 12 right here. Now that could be, we could say with the word let, which is of 3 letters, or the word may, which is also of 3 letters. But we can see how we have the 3 is really, 3 is still showing very clearly, clearly divisible here. Okay. Another point I really wanted to address, which I do have presentations on dandelion. So Mother Eve, the message was in those presentations with dandelion is Mother Eve was showing how the mouth, her mouth, and okay, the mouth had the 8 in it, like I have been showing from the drawings or the illustrations. So Mother Eve was saying the mouth is 5, and the 8, the action of eating the fruit, is 8. When we add these together, this is where we have 13. So we have seen 13 to be very symbolic in all what we are doing here. On the 15th of May, where Uranus is entering the house of Taurus, it's going to come to the 13th. It's so basically this is 15, which is 6, and 5. So 6 plus 5, I'm trying to see where, plus the year is 2. So 6 plus 5 is 11, and plus 2. So that would be 11, 12, 13. So this is 13. So basically we can see that 13 is very, very significant here. And it really be interesting to see what happens, for instance, of course, like 13 with Christ and the 13 disciples, and on the third day, which would be maybe about the 16th, not the 16th, that would be about the 19th. They're about to see what happens on the 19th, of course, because 1 plus 9 is 10. And well, what is going to be resurrected, or how am I going to feel, for instance, considering that the 15th of May is my birthday, and in this new realm, it feels like a demarcation of the new realm, basically. Like I say, it's like really being at a train station and people are really getting on and off. That's what it's about. Some people are coming, taking other people's position, or enrolling in a new class, because that's what we are, in a class of I call it the University of Life, and that's what I have been seeing life as. So people are taking different subjects, and that's what people who are moving into the 5th and 8th dimension, they probably will be those who are doing their PhD in life, or training to be whatever specialists that they are meant to do, or they are called to do. And I'm believing that they will find their calling in that way too. Okay, so back to 13. I feel there was something more I was talking about. Yes. So we see the number 3 in May, and so on. So, but what I also got from that is Mother Eve, from the presentation of Dandelion that I did, she was with the word lion. I discovered that Mother Eve is also not only a serpent but also a lion. And then I also discovered with the number 8, which is the symbol of infinity, it coincided with the month of August, which of course in the month of August, because 8 also is like May is the 5th month, we have 8 August as the 8th month. And we could see, just as we had Taurus, Taurus, and Uranus, Uranus, or no, Uranus. And so we had all these had something very profound in common. They had W's, 2 U's in each. Taurus has 2 U's and Uranus has 2 U's. Also, another thing that was very striking with August, it is the only month, I think, that has the numerical value after its placement, meaning when we do the numerical value for the word August, it also equals 8. So that is another exciting thing for me to see what is going to happen on the 8th, considering I also have a life path number 8. So that is very symbolic. Hey, now Mother Eve, of course, had made the connection to say she is also the lion. Then that gave me the understanding, why do we always see the lions on top of buildings and so on? I had not understood this before. So it's making that connection. So this is 20 and this is 3. So 23, that's how I got to understand 2 plus 3 is 5. And when we do the numerical value for the first nature of Mother Eve, which is the waters in the Bible, because it's a mathematical construct, you hear water one place but waters. So the first word for waters in the King James Bible, which is waters, when we do the numerical value here, it is. And we see the, of course, there's the thing, right here in the middle of the word waters is that word that have put us in all this kind of confusion. The word et is right there in waters. Okay, so let's add this. This is 10, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23. That would be. So we can see that the lion is also the waters, is also Mother Eve. Now, this is why there is always that thing about the serpent had lie, because we are talking about lion. You know, the word lie is there and relating to the serpent, but the serpent is also the lion. This is what Mother Eve had showed us right there. And of course, the word was dandelions, which I'm not quite sure what it came to. Dandy, I think it was E, dandelion, yes. Let's just do the whole thing here. 5, 4, 5. So this is 10, 15, 19. 19, 1 plus 9. So the word dandy right here is 10, like it was with Taurus. Again, we can see that. So, of course, 5 plus 1, because this would be 1, or 10. 10 is 1. So the lion would be, but we had dandelions in the presentation. But anyway, we'll stick to this, which is 5 plus 1 is 6. So that would be the said God right here, as the Mother Eve would be as the said God. So the lion is 5, dandelion, which was the flower, and this was an intuition that I had followed on, that I discovered there was one single dandelion that Mother Eve had got my attention to, and then I found myself doing the presentation just following on that, and to discover that Mother Eve is also the lion. So she is the serpent and the lion, and we could see that in theology or ancient teachings on scriptures, and or should we say on scriptures or theology, let's put it this way. There's the lion, and there was something about in one of the texts as well, where in the scriptures it speaks of the lion, or not in the jungle. The song in the jungle came to mind, but I did make reference to that. So if you Google anything on dandelion, on Crime a Queen, or by Crime a Queen, you will find pretty much what I'm talking about on there. But I felt that that was really a nice way to look at the motions and movement that Mother Eve is doing. So Mother Eve is not as direct as we have been taught in a sense, but she takes us through different paths, and we just need to really trust her path and to see that she gives us the introduction of her makeup, or what to expect. So for instance, this is how we know now that there is something significant happening in August as well. So there will be from the month of May, which is the 5th month, there will be to August. It's also 3 months. So in those 3 months, we could see the magic of the number 3 playing out in what we are learning here. So I just felt I needed to explore all this, because the synchronicities are really so wonderful here. What more can I say about, again, may I just interject this as well in the sense of the presentation that I watched today, and to understand that it is of 13, why is this word playing so, the footprint, he said the footprint of the pyramid is 13 acres. It's 13 acres. square acres it would be, but it's 13 acres. And I just find the number 13 as well there is very, that struck me a bit. And there was something about that it weighs 60 or 6 million tons. So we see the number 6 again. It's like saying the number 6, the number of man. Perhaps it means 6 million men. Okay, but it's all those different numbers are coinciding beautifully with what we are seeing right here. Okay, and that means the gods had made, had, had put an intelligence on the external for us to be able to make sense of who we are, to see who we are. So there are different layers to our awareness, which is really beautiful. Thank you. Let there be light, and there was light. Do give us a like and subscribe. Thank you.